Hi, everyone. It's Amalia, founder of S.T.E.M Braids and Beyond and host of the Silver Bullet S.T.E.M podcast. Today, I have another exceptional contributor to the S.T.E.M industry, and I'd love to introduce the guest to you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Jones. I currently work as an engineer for the Department of Defense. I have been working as an engineer for the last 18 years. My background is chemical engineering with a minor in environmental engineering, and I currently work as a project engineer.
Oh, wow. And how can anybody get in touch with you if they have any questions?
You can get in touch with me through Instagram, TIFFJOTOT. I'm sorry, 202. So TiffJo202 is probably the best way. I do have a LinkedIn, but I rarely check my LinkedIn. But it's Tiffany Jones on LinkedIn. I just don't know the exact link.
Okay, I can find that.
Yeah, so those are the best. Those are the best two ways to get in touch with me. Yes.
Awesome. So you said that you're an engineer and is chemical engineer. What does that sector of engineering mean? Because some of the things that I didn't even realize is how many different areas you can specialize in an engineer. So what does a chemical engineer do?
So chemical engineer, we take a lot more chemistry than the other engineers. So usually your first 2 years, most engineers, we take this similar class. We take thermodynamics, we take mechanics, we take what else? Fluid mechanics. We take a lot of the statics. So we like to take a lot of the similar classes the first 2 years, but then the last 2 years you focus more on the chemistry. So we take a lot more. We take organic chemistry, we take physical chemistry. On top of that, we take a lot of engineering classes such as, what did I take? Process control, material balance. I'm trying to think now. It's been so long. And process control, material balance. Took another thermodynamics class. So we had our senior design. But like I said, the bulk of our class the last 2 years was chemistry and process control based classes.
Got it.
Normally people who go in this field tend to work at like maybe a power plant, oil field, of course, government contractor, government, pharmaceutical. And then a lot of people they go to med school with the chemical engineering degree also, or go into patent law.
Patent law. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah. So how did you get your start in S.T.E.M? Was it something in the environment, something you saw on TV? Somebody in your family was an engineer? How did you get your start?
It was a little bit of everything. So I really, when I was a child, I really wanted to be I wanted to be a surgeon. That was my first thing, or archaeologist, but I really wanted to be a surgeon. Like my parents, when I was in kindergarten, first grade, they got me remember the Fisher-Price doctor play set. So I used to play with that a lot. And also Fisher-Price had a microscope kit. And with this microscope kit, it came with like pre-made slides, and it would show you like different plants and insects and bacteria. And you could look at it under the slide, and it made it seem like you're looking at the real thing. It also came with blank slides, and my dad would take the blank slides, and he would take the plant water, the water in the plants, and he would put it on the slide. And I could see the different organisms that was in the water from that plant. But like I said, I really wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor up until about senior year in high school. My chemistry teacher told me, because he was a pre-med major, he said, look into majoring into something else. I could take it back junior year. Junior is when he told me, he said, look into not just majoring in biology, but maybe majoring into something else, because when you get to your last year of college, you may not want to go to med school. So I started looking at other things to major in. I had a few family members who were engineers, and one of my family members, he gave me a brochure and had a different engineering disciplines. So I wanted to do biomedical, but a lot of schools didn't have biomedical, but most schools had chemical. So I ended up majoring in chemical engineering. So
I find it fascinating what you shared about the Fisher-Price. So what did your parents do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
So my dad was considered like in management. If you remember the company Circuit City, he worked in the district's office in there. My mom, she's done a little bit of everything. I think her ending career is IT, but she's done program analyst. She's done secretary work. She's done HR. She's done a little bit of everything, but she's spent her years in the federal government.
Got it. So one of the things, and the reason for me creating the the program is like you said that the Fisher Price, I'm not American, so I didn't have that toy as a child. But sometimes we can find in the underrepresented community that kids would be great at the toys or the hands-on aspect.
Mhm.
That doesn't translate into the classroom.
Yes.
You were to compare other races, they do well in STEM hands-on and they do great academically. So there is a gap there, and that's what my work is working to address. So what in your life helped you translate what you saw with the toy into the classroom? Is it the area you lived in? You had access to a better school?
Mhm.
What was that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. My parents, so during our summers, there was no such thing as a break. We had to do workbooks. So my mom, she was big on going to the store, and there was a lot of different workbooks we had to work on, reading, math, and science workbooks. Also, she made us read like one book a month. So she was big on that. Also, the schools I went to were very good. My dad, anytime we moved to a neighborhood, he looked at the school, like look at the school ratings, and he was big on living in a neighborhood that had good schools. So then also my teachers were very good. Like I guess they saw I was a good student, so they would recommend certain programs. So I know my senior year, my AP chemistry teacher, she recommended this program they had at George Washington Medical School, were for people who were interested in going to medical school, and it's for women and minorities. And they had women and minority doctors talk to you about what it would take to get into medical school. And so I went to that program. So yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead. So you went
Yeah.
into that program.
Yeah. So it was my teacher. Then I had other family members who were also in STEM. And so they did a good job of anytime there was a program, they would let us know about it.
That's interesting because I think you're also identifying a reason why other races do well in STEM, because there is so few Blacks in STEM. There's nobody in the family or within 6 degrees of separation to share information with a household.
Yes.
Whereas if you have 8 out of 10, which is the case for whites,
Yeah.
8 out of 10 in the family has STEM exposure. So they can say, hey, get the kid involved in this. So you're shedding light on all the things I'm trying to flag.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, your community does matter, and like I said, I give props to my mom. I mean, she really would look into like the news back then, because you didn't have the internet. So she would look into the newspaper and see what the Boys and Girls Club was doing, the YMCA was doing, what the school was having. She would also look at the different camps and things and put us into those environment. Even though she wasn't a STEM major, she hated math, she hated science. Her background was in business administration when she went to college, but she made sure that we did all of that.
Gotcha. Shifting gears just a little bit. So for someone who, like you're doing chemical engineering, what do you think the childhood interests or aptitudes look like? Because not every kid may be good in math or maybe good in chemistry. What do you think identifies a child who's good in something that may be chemistry based?
It could. So for me, I was really good at reading and math. I really like to read, and I like math, but I still was good in science. I really love asking a lot of questions. Another favorite toy of mine was Legos, taking things apart and putting things together, doing puzzles. But I think for over the years that I've worked with various children and trying to get people involved in STEM, it can look like anything. I think really just giving kids the what I want to say. Just the knowledge and let them know, hey, this is out here. You could do this and do this and this and this, even if you're not good at math, you can get better at math. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not good at reading, you can get better at reading. But just giving kids the opportunity to let them know that there's various STEM majors out there. And STEM backgrounds, I won't say majors out there.
Absolutely.
So yes, but I would say any child, regardless of their background and what their interests are, could be good in STEM. Because if there's people I know who wasn't great in school, but are great engineers, great scientists, great computer scientists, great doctors, so, it just,
Literally, you are literally, have you read my stuff? I know you didn't look it up before, but that's the sort of things that I share in the program, that part of the reason for the gap is the fact that nobody taught us how to learn.
Yes.
So how do you study? How do you do the homework? Why is homework a priority? These are simple things that, because we had a late academic start, for
Yes.
no other reason beside
Yes.
the color of our skin,
Yes. That's true.
our gender. We
Yes.
we weren't given the same tools to learn
Yes.
any other race did.
Yes.
So kudos to your family, kudos to your mom.
Yes.
I know you started out with a different childhood career desire. In
Mhm.
hindsight, could you see that um, chemical engineering was the natural fit for you all along, and you were just lucky to find a chemistry teacher that could point that out? Or do you think it's just stumbling in the dark and figuring out what fits?
Um, I think it was a natural fit, but to go back, there's days I do regret not going to med school. I can be honest. But my senior year, it was a little bit of a burnout, and I also was pregnant with my son senior year. So between those two things, I just like I don't think I could do any more school.
Mm,
Um, but engineering has worked out. It was it was a great backup plan. So I do enjoy engineering, especially with working with DoD. Because I've
mhm.
learned about various programs. And so but there's part of me that do regret not going to med school though.
Gotcha. So let's jump into the next question. Do you feel like engineering has provided a very good lifestyle for you? In the Black community, we're all into sports, no matter what it is, or
Yeah,
into entertainment, and we think that is the only way out of the life of struggle.
yeah.
Do you think like STEM or engineering is a great fit for anybody? You don't have to make millions, but you can still make a good life out of it.
Yes, you can make a good life. I mean, your starting pay is great. You're gonna probably get paid more than your peers starting out. But with engineering, you do have to move around to make great money. I'm gonna be honest with people. Like most
Mm,
people start at the production floor, and it's just hard. You make great money as a production engineer, but it's harder to break into that six-figure realm. So you do have to move around and find other things to do in engineering. Yes.
and I swear you read. I don't care what you read my work, because one of the things that I said is that by only placing emphasis on hands-on training,
Yeah.
just limiting to the production level, you
Yes.
don't have the ability for upward mobility. There
Yeah.
is no corporation that is run by somebody without a master's degree if they're
Yes.
not the founder. And
Yeah.
so don't be limited in just the hands-on, do the academics. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yes, I do agree. And I agree that even if you don't, so there are some engineers who can do without a master's, but if you're going to do without a master's, you have to get a lot of certs. So make sure you get your
Mhm.
PMP, which is your program management cert. Look at getting into earned value management certification. Those are great. Look into your Six Sigma, Green Belt, Black Belt certifications. Those are also great. So, you know, and even if you do have your master's, still look at the cert. So that's your best way to move up and to get into other jobs.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
What do you wish you knew sooner in hindsight? What do you wish you knew sooner, or an underrepresented child knows and understands about getting into STEM? What do you wish?
I wish I would have known sooner that I was thinking about majoring in engineering, because in middle school, I took pre-algebra in 8th grade versus taking it in 7th grade. And
Mm,
if I would have took algebra one of my 8th grade year, I could take calculus my senior year. So I do stress to a lot of parents, like if you're able to get your children in pre-algebra your 6th or 7th grade year, that is great. And try to get them in algebra in the 8th grade year, because then they can take that calculus their senior year. And I figure in our community, that's the biggest, I feel, hindrance. Like we don't have access to higher level math in
mhm.
middle school. It's very hard in a lot of majority Black communities to get pre-algebra offered, not just in 8th grade, but just get, just to get pre-algebra offered at all into the schools. Like we need, more Black kids taking pre-algebra, at least in 7th grade, preferably 6th. Because if you look at other countries, they're taking pre-algebra in 6th and 7th grade. Even like non-Black communities are taking pre-algebra in 6th and 7th grade. So we need more of our kids to be able to take pre-algebra in 6th and 7th grade.
I'll tell you the funniest thing that as you read my notes, I don't care what you say. One of the things that I realized is that when I was taking college algebra, I
Mhm.
actually had taken it in high school in about 75%, 80% of the content in high school. So when I was taking college algebra, it wasn't as hard as it should have been, because
Mhm.
like you're saying, being
Yeah.
introduced to those classes earlier
Mhm.
changes the trajectory or
Yes.
the success. And because of that, because college algebra wasn't as hard, I was able to do better in analytics
Yes. Yes.
than the ordinary person, which led
Yes.
to me taking the master's. But had I
Yes.
been struggling with
Yes.
um, algebra,
Yeah.
I may not have had that same level of success. You know what I mean?
Yes. And it's good that you said that because in engineering, you really need to be in calculus 1 your freshman year, but a lot of people take college algebra in pre-calculus, and that's why a lot of Black people end up in the 5-year engineering program. Is because they don't get to take a college algebra in high school. They don't take pre-calculus in high school because they don't have the math in middle school. And so, like I said, I really wish our country would do a better job of offering more quality math classes on the middle school level.
Part of it is that I feel like they don't know, and that's why
Yeah.
Auntie here to get all her nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Being a Black woman, Black and a woman in STEM, chances are you're outnumbered every single time or in most rooms. Have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
Um,
And how did you navigate it?
as I got older, maybe I felt like that, I dealt with that. Recently, the last few years, I've been doing journaling a lot to help me with imposter syndrome and realize I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be great at everything. It's okay to not to be good at certain things. It's okay to let people know I'm not good at certain things so I can get the help that I need in areas that I need it.
So your way of dealing with imposter syndrome is asking for help?
Yes, which I wasn't good at a few years ago. Now I do ask for help. I'm one of the people, if you ask anybody that knows me, I won't ask for help. I'll give help, but I'm not going to ask for help. I'd rather suffer and figure out on my own than ask somebody for help,
Just so that I can unpack that a little bit deeper, because I think there's something to be said there. What is the reason that you had a hard time asking for help? Is it that you didn't think the help was available? Is it because you didn't want to appear stupid? What was that?
They want to appear stupid. And then like in high school, I was always considered the smart person. So I always wanted to seem like I was a smart person. And so my biggest fear is seeing like I was stupid or I didn't know something, So yes.
Have you had mentors in your journey that helped you make that pivot in your journey?
Yes, I have mentors. So I have mentors in my family and then outside of my family. I had a lot of great supervisors. They were really supportive. I know sometimes as a minority, when you come into a STEM field and it's a mostly white male field, they are not that supportive. But the white male supervisors I've had have been very supportive. Same thing with the Black female supervisors. And, they've all been very supportive, So
yeah. My younger sister, she says this. She's like, sometimes your biggest advocate is not somebody who's the same gender or even look like you. And sometimes I think, like you're saying, like you think I can't ask for help because the people don't look like me, so they don't resonate. But people want to. They want to. They want you to thrive and do well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do. Yes.
What does STEM mean to you?
So STEM means to me, I think it's more than just science and math, right? I think in STEM, you have to understand. I think you need to understand history. You need to understand art. You need to understand humanities. I think as an engineer, you need to understand everything. I think people just think STEM is just understanding math, understanding science, but I think a well-rounded engineer understands all of those disciplines. Like they're good at, not so good at everything, but they understand that. They understand history because you need to know the history of things to understand why things work the way they do, or why did humans build a bridge the way they built that bridge? Maybe that wasn't the proper way to do it, but you need to understand the history and what was going on in that time period to understand why they did the things they did, You need to understand how humans think the way they do, because I think that helps a lot in the engineering field because you have to work with various type of people. Not everybody's an engineer, so I think you need to understand how people think. So when I think of STEM, I just don't think of it just being science. Like it's a little bit of everything. You have to understand all the different things outside of science to be good at it.
So you're saying that in order to be a great engineer, you need to be well-rounded in more than the STEM subjects.
Yes. So the best engineers I've seen have been well-rounded in all areas. Yeah.
You said that art mattered, and so tell us a little, because people are shifting the acronym to STEAM, and
STEAM,
I'm literally against it.
Yeah, well, people are, yes.
Yeah, not because they, in an attempt to make it inclusive, they've added art instead of adding resources. The job of an artist does not pay what an engineer pays.
That's
And
true.
so if you're going to add the letter, make sure the pay matches whatever it is instead of
Yes.
putting us into the
Yes.
continued low income jobs. No,
That's true.
don't give me a letter, give me the resource.
Yeah, that's true too. Yes, that's true.
But why do you think art matters in the technical expressions in STEM?
So for me, art, it depends what you consider art. So I put humanities under art. I kind of put history under that art. Like, so yes, understanding people, understanding why, the history of things, but also artists can make a great artist, somebody that can draw. I don't think a lot of children understand can make a great engineer. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who's really good at, singing can make a great engineer. I think people don't understand that art,
Yes.
like I said, and art helps you understand people too. Yeah.
So absolutely, you know what? I'm not contesting it. I'm just asking for the benefit, because sometimes we don't realize those simple things translate into being able to have you have a higher IQ.
Yes.
Be able to understand even the stress of the job, being able to step away and be able to do something that is art based, that is relaxing. Because there's also the belief that there's left and right brain. Well, both brains can work in concert.
Yeah.
Do you feel like?
Yes.
Do you feel
I'm
like?
sorry.
Do you feel like?
Yes. Yeah, I was saying I do. I agree. Yes.
Well, it's been awesome having you here today. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
So the only thing I would like to say in closing, we need more, I guess, STEM people, in the field, maybe volunteering and mentoring children and encourage children to go into the STEM field. Also, I would love schools, and it's really hard, but get schools helping children to get involved in STEM, offering, like I said, more quality math classes in middle school. I don't think, like I said, a lot of school districts don't understand how much we need higher level math and how we need to prepare children to be able to take higher level math. Like I would love starting in 3rd grade. And I know there's a few organizations, I think like NSB is had a program. I don't know if they still had it, where they were trying to get more people prepared for third grade for math, because that's the make or break point for a lot of children in math. So they can be prepared to take, higher level math in middle school. So I would love more school systems to invest in like 3rd grade math and prepare the kids 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade to take pre-algebra by 7th grade.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.